You ever get that feeling where you're aiming for something big, something important, but actually getting there feels kind of vague?
Oh, absolutely. Like you want to build something solid, but the ground feels a bit shaky underneath.
Exactly, that feeling. And that's really what we're digging into
That
today.
drive to achieve, yeah. To feel like you're actually in control of where you're headed. It's universal.
Totally. And, often it's not just about having the idea, it's about the structure, the
Hmm.
discipline to make it happen.
That's the core of it. And we've pulled together some really interesting sources on this.
Yeah, we have two articles that get right into the nitty-gritty, the daily habits and mindsets of disciplined, successful folks. Lots of practical stuff there.
Really concrete strategies. And then there's this other piece, an essay that kind of zooms out.
Right. Looks at the bigger picture. Why discipline isn't just a personal win, but kind of fundamental for society, too. It's quite thought-provoking.
It really is. So, our mission today, if you will, is to blend these views, pull out the key takeaways.
And make it useful for you, listening. Give you a sort of concentrated dose of insights on building discipline without feeling, totally overwhelmed by it.
Let's get into it. Okay, so first thing that jumped out, and it was everywhere, really clear goals. You gotta have them.
Oh, definitely. One source had this great analogy, like trying to travel without knowing your destination.
Exactly. How do you even know which way to turn? Clear goals give you that target, that focus. It's basic, but essential for discipline.
And it's not just about having some fuzzy idea like, I want to do better.
No, no, the sources really hammer this home. Small, specific goals. That's the key.
Yeah, instead of get fit, it's walk 20 minutes Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Hmm.
or add one salad this week.
Right. Breaking it down makes it feel possible, not like this giant mountain you have to climb all at
Much
once.
less intimidating.
And this links directly to what we see in successful people, according to the articles. They don't just drift, they have plans, they know what they're aiming for.
They're intentional.
Very. That planning, that clarity, it's a signature of that disciplined approach.
Okay, so you've got your clear goals, your roadmap. What's next? Seems like time management is the big one.
Huge. Came up again and again. Time, well, you don't get it back, do you?
Nope. Finite resource.
So if you're not deliberate about how you use it, it just disappears. You get bogged down in stuff that doesn't really move the needle on those goals you set.
Right. It's not just about being busy. It's about being busy with the right things.
Precisely. Making conscious choices about where that time and energy goes.
And the practical tips are solid, like actually using a calendar or planner, seeing your day blocked out.
And prioritizing, figuring out what really needs doing. And, crucially, doing it, not putting it off.
That proactive tackling of tasks.
Yeah, and again, looking at successful people, this is a pattern. They guard their time, they have routines, they maximize those productive hours.
Not just working longer, but smarter with the time they have.
Exactly.
Like,
Strategically.
but, okay, even with the best plans, the best schedule, there's always procrastination lurking, isn't there?
Yes. The universal challenge. It can totally derail things, even when you start with good intentions.
One source called it a major barrier to discipline, which feels right. That urge to put things off, especially the hard stuff.
Or the boring stuff, yeah. But doing that consistently just chips away at your progress towards those goals.
So what do the sources say helps? It seems pretty consistent, actually.
Yeah, breaking tasks down, that came up a lot. Make the big scary thing into smaller, less scary things.
Right. And also just starting, taking that first tiny step.
That initial momentum seems key. Overcoming the inertia.
And the contrast with disciplined people is interesting here. They don't seem to wait for the perfect moment or, a sudden burst of motivation.
No, they just start, even when it's tough. They have a bias towards action. That seems to be a real differentiator.
Which kind of leads us perfectly into the whole idea of habits, doesn't it?
It really does. Because discipline, when you look closer, isn't always these huge, heroic acts of willpower.
It's more like the sum of lots of small, consistent actions, habits.
Exactly. The sources frame discipline as this ongoing process, building those positive routines.
Like getting up at the same time, having set work blocks, eating well, decent sleep.
All those things. They become the foundation, the building blocks for a disciplined life.
And the cool thing is, once they are habits, it feels less like a struggle, right?
Definitely. Less reliant on forcing yourself because the behavior becomes more automatic. It's just what you do.
It becomes part of your operating system.
Good way to put it. And the articles give examples like regular writing, daily exercise, just good old hard work, always learning.
Even wanting to win, that competitive drive, It all ties back to that disciplined approach.
They're not random acts. They show a commitment.
Okay, but let's be real. Even with great habits, motivation isn't always sky high. It ebbs and flows.
Oh, for sure. That initial excitement can definitely fade. And that's where staying motivated, actively working on it, is vital.
So how do you do that? The sources mention self-encouragement.
Yeah, acknowledging the small wins, celebrating progress, even minor progress. It keeps the engine running, so to speak.
And reminding yourself why you started, keeping that purpose in mind.
Absolutely. When things get tough, reconnecting with that original motivation can make a huge difference.
It seems successful people often have this strong belief in themselves too, like, I can figure this out.
That's self-efficacy, yeah. And they tend to see failure differently, not as a dead end, but as feedback.
An opportunity to learn and adjust. That definitely helps maintain motivation through setbacks.
Definitely.
Now, here's something that might seem a bit separate, but the source is really connected. Taking care of your health, physical and mental well-being.
Oh, it's fundamental, not separate at all, really. Your energy levels, your focus, your mood, they all impact your ability to be disciplined.
Right. If you're exhausted or feeling rubbish, it's way harder to stick to any plan.
Way harder. So the advice is straightforward but crucial. Move your body regularly, even just walking counts.
Eat decent food.
Get enough sleep. These aren't just nice to haves, they're essential for discipline.
Yeah, it's like fueling the machine.
Exactly. Successful people often guard their health routines because they know it underpins everything else. It's an investment in their ability to perform and stay disciplined long term.
Makes sense. Another piece seems to be checking in on yourself. Self-assessment.
Yeah, regularly looking at how you're doing against those goals you set, it's crucial for staying on track.
Lets you see what's working, what's not.
Where you might need to adjust your approach.
Yeah.
It brings that element of accountability. Are you actually doing what you said you'd do?
And even if the sources don't always label it self-assessment, that idea of constantly improving, learning from mistakes, it implies that kind of reflection is happening.
Absolutely. Internal review. Now, shifting gears slightly, one source really dives into the broader meaning of discipline, beyond just personal goals.
Right. It defines it as like an organized, regular way of living, using time and resources well, self-control, following rules.
And the benefits listed are pretty extensive. Success, saving time, being more organized, healthier life.
Developing life skills, stability, balance.
Yeah, it makes a strong case. And it specifically highlights how vital discipline is for students, for learning, managing time, growing as a person, instilling responsibility.
But then it goes even bigger picture,
Hmm.
arguing that discipline is like the foundation of society.
Ethics, justice, cooperation all build on some form of collective discipline, it argues.
Which is a really interesting perspective, and then it flips it, looking at the downsides of lacking discipline.
Yeah, disorganization, stress, problems in school or work, relationship issues, even societal imbalance.
Quite the consequences.
It lays it out pretty starkly, but it also circles back to how to build it, echoing a lot of what we've already touched on.
Clear goals, time management, self-control, changing bad habits, staying motivated, positive thinking, healthy routines.
Tracking progress, celebrating wins, it reinforces those practical steps.
And then finally, there was that really long list of habits of successful people. Kind of felt like a summary of everything.
It is quite a list, really comprehensive, covered so much ground.
Like being on time, always improving, listening well,
Acting without waiting for perfection, praising others, staying calm,
giving good advice, planning ahead, staying fit.
writing regularly, waking up early, working hard, reading, aiming high, avoiding negative people. It goes on.
Thinking before speaking, taking calculated risks, helping others, learning from failures.
Respecting elders, women, reading good books, positive thoughts and actions, acting on ideas.
Considering the common good, facing challenges calmly, self-confidence, wanting to be good, seeing opportunities.
Single focus, no excuses, no delaying, living now but thinking long term, controlling anger, hanging out with inspiring people. Phew.
It's a lot, but you see the pattern, right?
Oh, yeah. So many of those boil down to that core idea of discipline. They require conscious effort, self-regulation, consistency.
So, stepping back from all this detail, the big picture seems to be that discipline isn't about being rigid or miserable.
Not at all. It's more about creating intentional structure, building those positive habits.
Which in turn helps you actually achieve what you want and maybe lead a more fulfilling life.
Exactly. And those common themes just kept popping up across all the sources.
Clear goals,
Smart time management,
positive habits.
and recognizing how much your inner motivation and your physical health play into it all.
They're all interconnected.
Absolutely. So hopefully this deep dive has given you, the listener, a kind of condensed version, pulling the key ideas together from different places. Save you some legwork.
Yeah, hopefully. So here's something to maybe chew on after this. What's just one, maybe two actionable things from everything we talked about that really struck a chord with you?
What's one small change you could actually start, like today or tomorrow?
Because it's amazing how those tiny, consistent efforts can build up over time. Compound interest, but for your life,
Yeah.
you know?
Well put. Small steps can lead to really significant places down the road.